Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. We got a top 15 probably deserves better than being top 15 220-pound puller here in the United States, CJ Twine. He's a bad dude. Probably deserves to be in that top 10. I don't know who he's pulled in that 220 class, but I do know I pulled him strong as an ox. And I know he has big wins on some big names. Paul Passmore, Sean Latimer, Paul Walter, just to name a few. I don't know his whole pedigree, but he's got some big wins on some big names. And but CJ Twine, man, what's going on?
What's up, bro?
Thanks for coming on here, man.
You welcome. You welcome. You welcome.
Yeah, man. I got my first experience with CJ at Georgia Arm Fights, and we pulled in that round robin together. It was a fun day, man.
That was wild.
Mine and your match ended in a foul, ended on fouls, which always sucks. But I'm sure we'll get to do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that was in that match. That was your only war, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
That was my only war.
If I remember correctly, I'm not sure because I know you were beating some people real quick.
Me and Desi had a good one. Me and Desi Hubbard.
Oh, okay.
We had a good one, and I think me and Passmore pulled for I don't know, maybe about 20 seconds. It wasn't too long, but yeah, me and you, I think we gripped up and restarted a few times. I false started once.
Yeah,
I know. I think you elbow fouled, and then on the restart, I false started. I don't know. I wasn't 100% comfortable. I don't know how you felt in the setup, but it led me to kind of false start there. Knowing how strong you were and how explosive you were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. When you feel a lot of times when you feel comfortable, sometimes false start does tell you certain things.
Yeah.
Give you the information.
Yeah, usually if I'm not feeling too comfortable in the setup or something, man, I might false start or definitely I've used a ref grip quite a few times too. If I'm not feeling too comfortable, but yeah, I want to give everybody a little background, man. What's your sports background? I know a little bit what you've done, but before arm wrestling.
Okay. Well, before arm wrestling, people might think my first sport was football, right? But it actually wasn't. Well, when it comes to team sport wise, my first sport was actually track. I was actually a huge track and field guy.
Nice.
That was my first sport. I did track and field and I did martial arts like taekwondo, wrestling, kickboxing. I was like always into combat and stuff. And I didn't play football till I was like 13 years old. I started late. Usually most people that play football, they play at pot 1 age. But I started 13 years old, 7th grade, didn't know how to put no pads on nothing.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I feel you on that, man. I didn't start playing until B team in middle school, like 7th grade.
Right.
When I started playing, but I was naturally good at football, man. If it's something that I wanted to pursue, I was actually, my coach was in talks with like Florida State and Florida, back in the day, when I was a senior. But I love baseball, man. You know what I'm saying? That was my passion. I wasn't as gifted in baseball, and then I met my son's mom, and then I didn't end up going nowhere.
I mean, I always want to do baseball, but the sports that I do between track football, and especially when I used to do wrestling, it was it. I couldn't do baseball. Um, I know I had my soccer coach. The coach for soccer wanted me to play soccer on his team one time. He just the sports that I played, especially when you play football, even track, it take a lot of dedication, a lot of time.
Yeah, and a
I,
lot, and some of them sports run like same season. You know what I'm
yes, sir.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's hard. Like the wrestling coach, man, always try to get me to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, but that was like it was either during football. I don't really remember correctly. It was during one of them, or it kind of maybe was in between, but it ran over into like baseball, or it ran over into football or something. So I never did it. But yeah.
The mistake I made, I wrestled my freshman year. I made the state. I lost at state. Actually, the guy that beat me was a senior. He was the best in the state in the weight class. Because when I did my freshman year, when I did wrestling, I was in the 189 class.
Oh, nice.
Then, yeah, I was in the 189 class. When I first went into wrestling, I was 200 pounds. So at the time, the guy that we had that was over 200 pounds was real good. He actually got a full scholarship to Georgia Tech. So they didn't need me there. So he was like, he go down to 189. I said, okay. Cause I did 189 class, the 171, and also the 160 one time. The 160 was the one I made states for.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, I made state. The guy, like I said, the guy that beat me. He beat me on pure technique. It was quick as hell too. It was crazy. It was
Right.
crazy how fat. But after that, how I was at the time, I ain't like how I lost. So I just didn't wrestle no more. And
Right.
that coach get mad. He was mad at me. He was wearing me up every day. He was like, "So you're not going back and wrestling?" I said, "No. I'm just gonna go back and play football." I said, "Nah, I'm not doing this." He was like, "Do you know how good you are?" I said, "Yeah." I ain't look at
Yeah.
that. I made state in my first year of wrestling as a freshman in high school.
Right.
I ain't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? At that time.
Well, you gotta want to do it too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like with me in the football, man. Like I'm 36 now. So when I
Mm-hmm.
was late 20s, I was like, man, I'm gonna go walk on, maybe try out somewhere. But it never happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people walk on all the time, but going into that walk on, they had like open walk ons for Carolina Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. And a little birdie told me that you had either what you competed against, or you did a workout, or some kind of maybe a combine or something with Cam Newton.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
No, when I was in high school, me and Cal Newton graduated at the same time, 2008. He
Oh,
couple
okay.
he, he couple months older than me. Um, uh, I went against I met Cam Newton in South Carolina State football camp. His
Yeah.
school. My school was better than his school. He was the Westlake High. He was like the most talented dude on his school. Um, we played them. I mean, at camp we beat them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was. I only saw him one time for because we was not in the same division in Georgia, so I only saw him at that football camp. The first thing I thought was that's a big quarterback. Okay, I think at that time he was like pretty much that. He was like 6'4", 220 at that time. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and he was running for his life too. he was running for his life too. But yeah, I went against him. I went against Eric Berry. the all-pro safety for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, he's not there no more. But I went against him in high school. He made the pro. I went against a couple more people that's not known that made the pros. One of the guys went to Green Bay. But I went against a couple. I went against a couple guys. Then when I moved to Virginia, I went to Virginia. I went against a couple guys that was like a big time D1 prospect, or they tried for Arizona Cardinals. I mean, it was on my practice. They're on their practice team right now, stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Somebody actually told me that like yesterday or the day before, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely got to ask them about that. I thought that was pretty cool, man.
yeah, football camp. My sophomore year in high school, then when I met Cam, that's the year that my sophomore year I won Defensive Player of the Year.
You won what? I'm sorry.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, nice, nice.
Because it's funny because when I was in eighth grade, down in Georgia, this is my second year playing football. I still didn't get the grasp of the game, like when it comes to the IQ. So, well, I do know this: if you got the ball in your hand, I'm gonna try to kick. So my coach was like, "Well, let's pull him in deep in the end." Right? He want to have no. He said, "The coach said, only thing I want you to do is stay contained outside. There was nobody outside you." That's all he said. He said, "Whoever got the ball in hand, go get him."
Yeah.
And I did. And I did pretty good. I mean, I did real good. I had like 13 sacks, 13, 14 sacks. My buddy Mike, he was he was a big time basketball player down in Georgia. My buddy Mike, he had 17 sacks.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he had 17 sacks. So it was between me and him for defensive player of the year when I was in eighth grade. Between me and him. Me and him clearly the two best defensive ends in middle school, right? Blowing smoke. My argument was at the time was I had less sacks than him, but I had more tackle for loss and I had more forced fumbles.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I can stop the run better than he can. Cause
Right,
he's
right.
like a typical basketball player. He was not really physical, so teams used to run at him. Well, when it comes to passing game, he'll kill. He has a long arm. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But when somebody run at him, he get blow up the ball. So I'm looking like, look, I got defensive player of the year down pat because across the board, I got a lot of sacks, tackle for loss, and I have about 7 forced fumbles. So I'm like, I got that on lock. So what happened was I got the inside scoop for somebody, right? Somebody told me like, look, he like, yo, Twine, you're not gonna win. I said, what you mean? He said, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you're not gonna win, right? I said, okay. So my mom said, you want to go to the war tomorrow? I said, yeah, let's go. So when I went there, right, I was running late. Soon I got there, I walked in the door. They named the defensive player of the year, and they got my boy. They picked my boy Mike over me. I just walked straight out the building. Straight out the building. I walked straight out the building, crying and everything. Like I was so heated. My mom didn't even say that to my mom. Said, "I'm just gonna take you home." You know what I'm saying? Then after that, I said, "You know what? I would say when I go in high school, I'm gonna build another level." So I came up here to Virginia for the summertime, training with my father, and I'm talking about we were training 2, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
The time I got in high school, I was on like everybody thought I'm on the juice. Like everything. So you know how when you're young and you start hitting that puberty, like how your body changes so
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
People are going through that growing process.
yeah.
So I'm working out with going through that growing process. So when I went to high school, people didn't know who I was. People like, "Dang, what you on? What you doing?"
I'm on that young man testosterone. That's what.
Yeah, yes, man. And like I look because when I was in 8th grade, they took us. We went to high school to see what high school we going to, and see what the high school looked like. You saw the football player. I saw how big he was. So I always been like a type of guy is when I see the competition, just like in arm wrestling. If I see the competition, right? If I can experience the competition, I train to that standard.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
That's why in my career, just like I did with sports before arm wrestling, in arm wrestling, always when I look at tournaments, like I don't have nothing against small tournaments. I think small tournaments great because I could meet people that's new and I could talk to them.
Right. Right.
And talk to them, about expectations, stuff like that. It's fun. But a lot of times, majority of the time, I always look at every tournament that got that's most stacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to a Maryland tournament not too long ago because I saw it was Todd Hutchins there, Brandon Assessor. You know what I'm saying? People like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? Then Brad Gundy was there. Paul Lynn was there. He didn't pull though. Um, um, it was a whole bunch of people. It was a whole bunch of good people there. You know what I'm saying? They pretty good. I lost. I think right hand. I lost in the finals to Brad Gunn. It was a war.
Yeah. He's been. I didn't know him up until recently. I think maybe last year. First time I saw him, maybe I say it was Louisiana State or maybe
Mm-hmm.
Alabama State. It was one of them. But he trains with Herman Stevens, right?
Yeah, Herman, John the Breather. The funny thing about that situation was that when I pulled him, he pulled completely different from like I see him on film. Because what
Yeah.
happened was me and him was supposed to have a challenge match, but Brad Gundy was in the military. So you know how military is, you can put in for leave, but it don't mean they'll approve it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he didn't get approved at the time, so we couldn't pull. We were supposed to pull back in like June, July, somewhere around there. It was like June. We were supposed to pull a challenge match, right? And I'm like, I got a perfect game plan, right? Because he like the hook. Other than my hook is strong, as you know what I'm saying. I just don't like doing it. My hook is strong though. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had a perfect game plan because I'm not that easy to hook, really. You know
Your
what I'm
hook's
saying?
good.
Huh?
Say your hook's good.
Right. My hook is good, but I'm also difficult to get put in there, especially if I know that was your main move is to hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like your main like you pretty much one dimensional. I'm hard to get put there because my speed, my back press, stuff like that. You might
Yeah.
mess around, lose your hand and wrist. So I came with a completely I came in, I was like, okay, I saw the competition. I was like, he's in the class, right? I'm like, okay, if he try to hook me, he gonna be in trouble. But he had a completely different game plan. He was kind of pulling like Brandon Assessor kind of. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Because I pulled Brandon Assessor back in 2019. A lot of people don't know that. 2019. Well, I pretty much been killing in my whole career. But 2019 probably the year that I tell you, 2019 was the year I had the most hype.
gotcha.
The me being people was starting to surface a little bit more
Gotcha.
back in 2019. You know what I'm saying? It started at the Alabama State. The performance I did out there. So down there actually. So I pulled him in 2019, right? And same thing. The way he pulls, like the way he pulls now,
Yeah.
on his tricep, he leaned
Right.
on his tricep, the
Yeah.
height game. At first, he wasn't really pulling that way. At first, when I used to see him, I didn't know him at the time. When I first used to see him, he used to press people. He got strong press. He used
Yeah.
to, he used to press people or turn people in the hook, or he do like a hook press. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was still top roll people, but he was not really on his tricep too much.
Right.
So
Right.
when I pulled him in 2019, and we pulled straight up, hand to hand, And I took his when he realized that he couldn't really go hand in hand with me, he started getting on his tricep. You know what I'll do when somebody on their tricep, a lot of time their palm of their hand is higher than your hand. And when they say
Right.
close your hand, when they say close
Yeah.
your hand, your knuckles covered just because the extra height of being on the tricep.
Right. Yeah.
It's a very difficult move to deal with, very difficult. But that's kind of what Brad Gundy was doing. Plus and Brad got pretty long arm too. So it's a difficult move to deal with. Um, I mean, I should have turned him in for real, for real. I should have just super and turned him in. He was there. You know what I'm saying? That's when the trust in your style come in.
Right.
When,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know when I first started arm wrestling, I did a little bit everything really. Man, I won matches, flat wrist press, all that, all type of stuff. All like if you go look at my old match, I won live. I won a couple of matches flat wrist pressing people. You know what I'm saying? Like a sideways hook, shoulder roll, of course, top rolling. Then when as you start getting better and go to these better competitions, sometimes you be like, you gotta have an ace move. You could
That's
be
kind of how my
bursting. Mhm.
sorry. That's kind of how my left is, man. My left is it's either good or it's trash. You know what I mean? It's not always
Right, right.
like my right is always 90% of the time, and it's feeling good. Um, but my left, man, yeah, I pulled out top rolls. I've shot in and just did a quick press on the go. I've hooked. My left, man, is I think technically I'm better left.
Well,
We
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like I told John the Breather. John the Breather the same way on his right arm. He's a lot more technical than his left,
right,
and it's not as strong as his left. But like I told him, like me, I could use both hands, but my right arm is more technical than my left, right?
yeah,
So what happened is just like you say your left arm is more technical. If you
right,
train your left arm super hard, like me, my right arm is super strong now, but it wasn't like that at first. I used to get killed right here. Not by everybody, but I'm talking about people that's good. I used to get killed right here. But
right,
left, then when people put me on the left side, they couldn't move me. That's why sometimes you talk to people, they're like, "Oh, CJ Twine is doing the left hand arm wrestling," because my left was crazy. Because
right,
horsepower wise, my left gets strong quick. I don't really train it for real because that's how hard my right doesn't get strong that quick. So I focus on my right real hard. I said, man, if I focus on my right, if it get up to the level of my left a little bit better, my right gonna be crazy because it's already more technical.
yeah,
Like if your left arm catch up to your right, your left arm gonna be better than your right, just because you got more weapons.
got you. And it
Mm-hmm.
like I've been arm wrestling for 3.5 years. Well,
Right.
almost 4 years. So my first tournament was you were there. You had a super match with Chance Shaw that day, and you had a super match with Jeremy
My my
Fraley.
my
Jeremy
second
Fraley.
yeah, my second year pulling. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I was like, man, I was watching you up there, man. And I was just like, man, that's like this is awesome. You know what I mean? I want to be up there. You know what I'm saying? So you being the first super match I ever saw or
Right.
whatever was just right off the bat an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? And I've always kind of followed you along since.
But
And I finally got to pull you.
did you know how long I was pulling at that time?
No, I had I had no idea. I thought maybe you were, I knew you were good. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I figured you were pulling for probably 5, 6 years. You know what I mean?
Some people thought that because I had time people told me even back then it was like how long have you been pulling? Like at that time when I pulled Jeremy Fairley and Chance Shaw, same with Chance, because me and Chance started the same year, 2015. I think we started the same year, but I think he started a couple months before I did. But um, he was on his second year. I was on my second year. So
Yeah.
at that time, when I beat Jeremy Fairley Luffy, that was big for me at that time. that was huge for me.
Yeah. Jeremy Crayley, I mean, he's elite,
Yes, sir.
left-handed,
Yes,
left-handed.
sir. And the right hand lost against Chance that day was disappointing day because before that, I beat Chance at Triple A National. Before that tournament, a little bit before. That when I first met. That when I first met him at the time. And after that encounter, I haven't seen him since 2017. I haven't seen him since, which
Right.
is crazy, but I haven't seen him. But yeah, that's cool that was your first tournament. That's wild.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was cool, man. You were up there pulling, and I was just like, man, that's gonna be me one day. You know what I'm saying? And
There you go.
that was actually, Desi. That was
Yeah.
Desi's first tournament too. That
Yes,
was both
sir.
of our first tournament. So,
Yeah.
which I thought that was
Mhm.
cool, man.
Yeah, cause I grabbed Desi. He asked me like he was to grab. He's let me grab. You know what I'm saying? Like we slow pulled a couple times, and I told him I was like, for the hand that small and strong.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying? I said, you stick to it, you be good.
I do strong, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pulled him a few times. I beat him in Georgia,
yeah.
but 3 months prior, he beat me down, man. And I think Rick Layton had a tournament, and I think he beat me 3 times that day. Maybe four times, maybe in overalls too, or something. I don't know. I pulled a couple weight classes, but the only loss I had on the day that day was from him. And then the first time we ever pulled, I flashed him.
Hmm.
So then I got, he beat me them 3 times. I got redemption on him in Georgia, but it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? He's got a weird angle. His arm is so much lower. You know what I mean? Like if you're not like typically, I'm used to pulling. Everybody's taller than me, right? Everybody
Hmm.
has longer arms. 95% of people have longer. So really, the short arm people kind of give me a little trouble because it's just a weird. So I'm not used to having the longer arm. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah, because when I pulled Desi, it felt so weird to me also when I pulled them at the Round Robin. Um it his his lever is so low and the angle that he took, it cut off my user angle, my lane that I use to tape. So I had to beat him on side pressure.
Yeah,
Like the angle the lane that he took away from me, it basically forced me to run right through him.
right.
And
Yeah,
the good thing I had enough side to do that because I was like, man, he got a real good setup. Then I wasn't surprised, he pulls with Paul Walker. So
yeah. That's another one, man.
well, yes, sir.
Yeah, he's a. I know you have gotten a win on him.
Yeah,
I
I
just
got to
know.
win with him before. When the first time I met Paul Waldner, when I first came on wrestling, of course, Paul Waldner didn't know who I was. I was always a bit fan of him when I first saw him because my coaches would tell me about him. They were like, "Yo, this guy is real strong. Nobody's talking about him at all." He's like one. I know what you mean. I was like, he's like one of those guys that's elite, but nobody's talking about.
Yeah,
He'll pop up in a tournament, and you would think, "Oh, I'm gonna beat this guy." Then he'll run through everybody, or give one of the best guys war. One or
yeah,
two. So when I first met him was at North Carolina State, 2018, North Carolina State. I went, man, I pulled man. What's that guy? Oh, now South Carolina. I forgot his name. That one I pulled Fitz Corey on.
yeah,
Fritz Corey was real strong that year. Real strong that year. Um, I'm talking about like I think he was at that time he was making a run. I think he was trying to make a run. Then
gotcha.
he kind of stopped, but he was
Right.
real strong that year. But I pulled him like semifinals, some shit like that. Pulled him twice. I think of course I beat him. Then I went against Paul in the finals. And when I grabbed Paul, I was fine at first, but man, that dude hit me so hard. I'm talking about in a weird angle.
Yeah.
He hit me so hard in a weird angle twice. I mean, in the scrap. In the scrap he did. Open handed, nah. In the scrap he did. He just boom, boom. And I'm like, whoa. I said, shoot. I said, yeah, he's a real deal. Then, I took it as motivation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what I did was that same year he beat me, I beat him in Carnage a couple months after that. I said about
Right.
5, 6 months after that, I beat him in Carnage. It was like this. First one, I went against in Carnage. This I found out first. He was my first match. Cause some reason when I pull in tournaments, man, like they be know I'm coming. The promoters be know I'm coming. I swear to you, Ron. Nobody could not deny it because I got evidence. Cause I could name every tournament I went to, I had a killer weight class. Every time I pull in a tournament, I'm I'm talking about my brackets be crazy. My bracket, I'm talking about it's the type of bracket that you're supposed to go 0-2 against.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had at Cardinals, right? I had Paul first, but freaking Ron Bell fouled me out. He said I moved the referee, Brett, some crap like that. He fouled me out, whatever. And if I remember correctly, I think right after that I had Jesse Barnett, if I remember correctly, after that. And Jesse Burnett was super strong at that time before he had his illness. I'm talking about like crazy hamstring.
Yeah. That dude was big too, man.
Yeah,
He was. He
he
was.
scared. I was nervous because I remember his performance. The same your first tournament, your first tournament in 2017. I remember how he did there. So I'm like, man. I said, man, I already lost one match on five. I said, man. I don't want to go 1-2, but of course I beat him. Then after I beat him, right when I beat him real easy, I just pull him down real easy. I said, okay, so that hard training I did for like 3 or 4 months is working.
Yeah.
So I pulled Paul again. We had a big bracket. Our bracket was huge. It was like me, Paul Wardman, Jesse Barnett, Paul Passmore, Carl Stanley, um, Tim McPherson.
Yeah.
It was a huge class, man.
That's a
It
whole
was
list. That's a whole list. That's a whole list of killers right there.
right, and I'm just naming why, but it was more people in there than that. But I was just naming a few people that I like, what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
everybody knows as killers. So
Right.
I pulled Paul like I think I pulled Paul before I got in the finals. Cause Paul beat Carl Stanley in the hook. Then he went against me. Then that when I beat him in the scrap. That when I beat him on that match. Then I went to the finals. But after that, Paul beat me in Carnage in the he beat me in the Rob Robin left handed and he beat me right handed. The right handed I messed up though. Right handed I had him cracked over. But you know how you crack somebody over, but you drop your body?
Yeah.
Like basically you're like it's almost like you're out hitting your hand. I had him
Right.
right here. His hand was like this, but I dropped my body. You're like, oh, this match is over. I'm looking at the pin pad. And this when the experience come in. So when he saw that I would pay attention to the pin pad, he did like a little reverse top roll me because we was in the scrap. Like a little reverse top roll, reverse me and beat me. And that I was heated, but I think I was the only that day right handed. I think I was the only person that put him in trouble because he I mean pretty much in trouble because he beat George Seal in the final.
Yeah.
He beat that day. He beat Joe in the final. So yeah, that guy is a beast, man.
Oh, for
He,
sure.
he irritated setup with, but that's how he is when you pull guys on a high level. I'm still learning to this day because when I was in Maryland, man, all myself was like almost 2 minutes, man. Like everybody was grabbing me, trying to bully me, and I'm like, hold on, motherfucker, who's strong as hell? Like you ain't gonna bully me. Like they don't realize what they was doing. I said, oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Try to blow me up in the cellar and take away some of that power.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Gotta
didn't
keep you,
realize it. Huh?
kind of keep you opening and closing your hand.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ways to
sir.
yeah, man.
Then when
I don't do
yeah,
it, man. I don't do it. Somebody does that to me, I just sit there, man. I'm not, I'm not.
Facts,
I
facts.
don't even play it. At first, I did, but that's one of the first things from the little bit of experience I have. Yeah, I ain't gonna sit there and blow my hand up.
Mm-hmm. But that's how it is, man. Like when you go against a guy on a high level, because you know me, I came up pulling like triple A. So triple
Yeah,
A, devil basic double A off his base from. So triple A, when you get in a referee's grip, if you move an inch, that's a foul. You gotta start. You can't climb and nothing in the referee's grip.
right.
And I was using that for a while. Then when Triple A was starting to go down, because Triple A was a big time. Triple A National was big at the time. Then when it was starting to go down, WL started to take over and stuff like that. WL and PAL at the time.
Yeah,
And a lot of times themselves get a little wild sometimes.
right. Well, speaking of like a WAL, didn't you pull a preliminary match or something for WAL?
Yeah. Oh, this is what happened. Okay. I pulled a guy from Canada, Brandon Moody, right? Real talented arm wrestler. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Real
right.
talented. He's another people talking about people talking about young talent like Shannon Shaw.
Yeah,
Also a real good young talent. I to me, I put him on a high pedestal because since I seen Brandon Overhill, right? Since I seen him, he been winning,
yeah,
right? Then some of his wins might be weird, just like Brandon Cecil. Not always as dominant, but when he get it done for
right.
for like for consistently. Like I mean, I think on time I saw Brandon so far lost was against Paul Lynn in New York. That's when I first laid eyes on him. When Paul Lynn like, yo, I gotta pull this guy from Canada, and people said he gonna smash me. Boom, boom, boom. Like it was like Devin, you know how Devin is. That's Devin, protege. So I'm like, oh, so I saw Paul beat him. Then he came to when I first met Brendan. It was that was in 2019. It was in Pennsylvania. It was that Pennsylvania big time tournament they have. I went there. I pulled the 240 class that day. I dropped massive weight. I was like 255. Don't ask me why. I was like 255. I cut down to like 230 in a short period of time. I dropped 20 pounds like it was crazy. I was like, fuck. But I pulled the 240 class, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much me and Brandon beat everybody.
Right.
That was a freaking that 240 class, that class to me was the most stacked. That I went to the finals. We pulled it. Me and him pulled each other. He was undefeated. I lost one match on fouls on bull crap, and I lost against Frank Hirsch on fouls. And the funny thing was, I was winning. I had him like in for the pad. He said my elbow. I don't know what happened, but I pulled him in the finals. Him not knowing, he don't know me. I don't know him, right? But I pretty much know how he pulls because he's from the high hooker type of camp. So pretty much all of them pull like Devin, except for Evan Bogain, what his name is. Evan kind of like a Super Nation type of puller. Other than Devin does pull that, but what I mean, majority of them guys like to go up high, like they try to cup you high. You know what I'm saying? Like they name high hooker. So I had an idea at the time But the first match I hit him hard. Like I'm talking about I had personally. I hit him hard and I pinned him and I was like, oh, this the guy y'all hyped up? I was talking mad shit like this the guy y'all hyped up? I was just talking to the crowd and stuff, right? Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Then it was like Bart said, no, it's far start. I said, what? He said, oh, I said, what? Oh man, what's that guy that man? I forgot his name. That Jim Brown that died, right? Jim Brown was going off. That was no fucking false start. That was a fucking big. Jim Brown was going crazy, right? I never seen Jim Brown was this crazy. So we pulled again. We pulled again. Same thing. Hit him. Boom. They said false start. So that's 2 fouls. You know, that was 3. And the third, so he's another one that played around in the grip too, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I learned that when you pull somebody, when they not complaining, like when they complaining, they're uncomfortable.
Right.
A person body language will tell you everything. Their attitude. When they comfortable, they don't say a word. They ready for that go.
Right. Yeah.
So that after them 2 fouls, I'm frustrated. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is just crazy. Right? I said, I was like, I gotta beat everybody. The refs, everybody. So I'm just like frustrated. So what he did was he played the frustration part so well. He got the grip he wants, right? But I didn't care. I was like, he's not top rolling me, so I didn't worry about that. So when I realized that I could get like I'm more dominant high, I didn't worry about it. But Brendan Moore here is very versatile. I did not know he was that versatile because most of the time, if you look at Brendan Moore here matches, he wins quick.
Right. Yeah.
Even he even wins quick, or if somebody better than him, they beat him easily. Right.
Yeah.
So I did not expect him to like, switch up. When he did, he switched up and he kind of like super Nate. Like when I tried to take his hand, you remember how I pulled you when I would bring you over, then you came in with you shot in and got your cup in. That's what he did to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the difference with you is when you did to me, I stayed in pretty good position. I didn't get away from my arm too much. With
Right.
him, what he did on me, I didn't expect it. So I'm like this. I'm stretched out. And he put me down. And that's how he beat me. So what happened was, this is when I first met RVJ. A lot of people used to tell me about him. They say he was an asshole, boom, boom, boom. So, but I always been cool with assholes. Because most people they call assholes, they call them assholes because they tell the truth. So I'm like, let me meet. Like he came up to me, right? He said, how you doing? I was like, how you doing? He's like, oh, I've been watching you for years. A lot of guys tell me about you. You know what I'm saying? He said, you're extremely dangerous. He was like, look, I want you and Brendan Poe here to pull again. I said, okay. He was like, nah, I want y'all to pull like a best out of 5. So initially, he would try to get me and him on the car. I'll tell you this though, that match was hype. My friends were watching that match. Like a whole bunch of my friends were watching that match. They was when I pulled Brendan in the prelims in Maryland, and of course the whole Canada was watching it. Of course, because Brendan got huge falling in Canada. Like they back him. Like, you know how over here they back Chan Shaw? That's how they back Brendan over here in Canada. Same way. You know what I'm saying? That's their next big thing.
Right.
So I was like, that match was so in Maryland was so intense. And it was a cliffhanger. The first match, that was on me. I missed a goal. He flashed me. Boom. He was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? See, when I pull on the table, I'm so focused. You can talk to me all you want to. It don't matter. Only time I get irritated on the table when the ref put me in a fucked up situation. That's the only time I get irritated. But other than
Yeah.
that, I don't get irritated. I never get irritated on pulling. I play too much sports that ain't nobody can get in my head. So
Right.
he was talking trash. He told, "Oh, this is gonna be easy." You know, Primo's the best out of three. So I went. My corner man was Kenny Smith. So Kenny Smith was like, "Look, what you?" He's like, Kenny Smith said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he said, "What?" He said, "Get your hand in the game. Let's go. Stop missing the go. Let's go." He said, "Meet him in the middle of the table. Let's go." So I was like,
That's a
"Okay."
good corner man to have too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he said, meet him in the middle. He said, don't let him just make you look like you don't belong. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, all right, cool. We got on the table. He was talking trash, right? It was so funny because Paul Lane was on the balcony, right? Paul Lane said, if you so fucking strong, go in the hood with him. Go in the hood with CJ there. If you so fucking strong. Because Paul know how my hood feels.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people don't know how my hooks really feel for real. A lot of people don't because I be taking people's hands. So
So I'm one of the few, right?
yeah, you one of the few actually. You right. I
Right.
wasn't even trying to put you in the hook. I was not trying to.
Right.
But but hey, it happens. But yeah, but so he was like, go in the hood, you so strong. And Brendan was like, I don't think Brendan knew that was Paul though. Because Paul was on top of the balcony. He said,
Yeah.
okay. I go in the hook, I'll pull anywhere. It was so funny, man. So we slipped. I made a little adjustment on him, right? Now, Brendan, I tell you this, usually when I grab people, I got back pressure with no problem, right? He one that got, I ain't gonna lie, just probably in Maryland. The way he set up, I couldn't back pressure him at all. Like the way he set the setup he had was flawless. Like I could not back pressure him. Whatever that setup that Devin showed him, it was flawless. But I found a hole. I found a hole in it. I had no access to my back, but I had access to my side. So what I kind of did was I kind of played defense.
Gotcha.
He worked to perfection. When you go against me, you gonna think about, oh man, he explosive. So you get ready for my hit. But I didn't hit. I'm like, he gotta come to me now. So we met in the middle of the table. Boom, I took his hand. I folded his hand and wrist. And he's another guy. Not too many people could top roll him. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever see, not too many people will take his hand and wrist, really. I give him that. Not too many people can. Very seldom somebody do that to him. Like, unless you like on the level of Devin or something or higher, a lot of times you not too many people top rolling that guy, Brendan.
Yeah.
So I fold his hand and wrist. It kind of surprised me, right? Then like Devin, when he get his hand and wrist folded, like I didn't know at the time, he get behind his shoulder. I mean behind his hand. And he got a pretty good he got a pretty good defense when he get behind his shoulder.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here then, and I'm gonna put pressure on his shoulder. And eventually, because when somebody you get behind your hand right there, right? If I put pressure on your shoulder, eventually it'll blow you up so bad that when you try to set up, you're gonna be loose.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So I pinned him, boom. Right? I'm all hyped up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this ain't over. I thought it. I was talking trash to people in Canada. Cause everybody was down there, like Ryan SBs, Evermore Gang, Burgoyne, everybody but Devin. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, cause I wanted to see Devin, cause Devin was talking all that trash. Right. So I wanted to see him. So I'm like, this ain't over. Then Bart, the bat, it wasn't Bart Wood. It was Bart Wood called the pen. The bat judge said elbow foul. I said, oh my God. I said, huh? Everybody was in shock. I said, Lord,
Bart Wood ain't called an elbow foul in 5 years, man.
No, he didn't call that one. It was a bat judge that called elbow foul.
Oh, okay.
He called Penn actually. He called Penn. But So we restart. So it's a battle between me and Brendan in the middle of that table, right? Because I'm not trying. If I lose one more match, I'm done. So we fight in the middle of the table, fight in the middle of the table. Bart fouling both of us out. You know, usually he don't foul nobody really, but he will foul us both. Like I'm talking about. I'm looking like Bart. I'm not doing nothing for real. I'm trying to protect myself from getting manipulated. Right. I'm not really doing nothing. I should tell referees that if I pull against people, right? People be like, people tell me all the time, you difficult to pull. Yes, if I know when you manipulate, yes, I'm difficult to sell it with. But
Yeah.
if you grab me and I know that you try to go straight up, I'll go straight up with you. No doubt about it. I I will go straight up with you. And we're gonna see what's up. But so he fouled both of us. We both had two fouls. One, I think one that Brendan fouled was when he hit me, I stopped him. Boom. Elbow came up. Stop in the middle of the table. Boom. Elbow came up. So it was two fouls on both of us, right? I said, yeah. And I noticed that he was getting fatigued, shoulder fatigue. He was getting fatigued because when he was fighting in the setup, I was doing how you do. I didn't really. I was just like I ain't gripping nothing. I was just like, oh, I was, what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was making no contact.
Right.
So I noticed that he was blown up. I looked at his face. I said, yes, sir. And maybe because it was so much trash talk to that match, because a lot of trash talk between him and people in Canada. They said he gonna smash me. They said they don't know why that I'm gonna get some of the prelims because he saw what happened in PA. Other than what happened in PA was bullshit. So I let people. So how I pull in Maryland, let folks know that shit happened in PA was fluke. So last match, he hit me. I stopped in the middle of the table. Boom. Right? He would try to roll out my hand. Couldn't. I turned him in. Boom. In the hook. He got in the hook with me and my arm ain't moved. I was just sitting there. I said, yeah. I was looking like, yeah. That's what I want him to do. Because I begged him to go in the hook. And he went in the hook. And I was just sitting there. And my mistake is when I was in position, I should just boom, I should just went. Man, man, he couldn't do nothing really. He did the most veteran move ever. He kind
Nice.
of pushed forward. He pushed forward, and my elbow came up, and I lost.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
He
so I
did
lost.
that on purpose, man.
I know, but it's fine. I mean, hey, it's what it is. Like I ain't really get. I was only mad it was not best out of five, but
yeah.
I ain't really. That was good. That was good. When he looked at me and he was like, he was looking at me like this. He was like, man, he said I had to do it. he said I had to do it, right? So I won the podcast. I forgot the guy's name. What that? One of them was that Beaver guy. One of them, but we got a
Beaver
podcast. He
Pumper.
asked me,
The Beaver Pumper.
yeah, he was one of them. Him and another guy, his buddy. They're from Canada. They was asking me like, would you want to pull Brendan again? Be like a trilogy. At this time, it's best out of five. Cause that whole after that match, it's a question mark. Nobody know. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of trash. So it was like, oh, if it's best out of five, CJ would beat him easy because he was worn out. I figured him out at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
was like, I told in the podcast I would come at that time. This is before COVID here. I was like, I would come to Canada and pull the best out of five. No problem. If I
Yeah.
had to, I don't mind coming to Canada. I said I would come up there and pull on best out of five. But on four, it didn't happen at the time. It didn't happen at the time. But I can tell you, man, I was heated because people ask me all the time if I won that match. Yeah, do you think you'll pull Ryan Bowen? Because Brendan was supposed to put Ryan Bowen before coach.
Yeah.
After our prelims match, it was him with Ryan Bowen. People ask me all the time about it. It was like, do you think that if you beat Brendan, would you have this Ryan Bowen? I told him I'm not sure. Like, because this WL2 match thing is tricky, right? Like, there's plenty of people that run prelims that haven't got a match yet. Yeah, especially when that COVID hit. So they ain't got a match yet. Like, only person that got a match immediately was was Brendan and Ryan Bowen, and I think Paul Lane, if I remember correctly. So I tell people all the time I'm not sure because I know Neil Pickett they do matchmaking and stuff like that. Because I wouldn't mind going against anybody. I wouldn't mind going against Ryan Bowen. That'd be real cool. You know what I'm saying? You know me. I'll tell you this though. I'm one of the few pullers that I will pull anybody. Don't matter what weight class. Like
Yeah.
some of these motherfuckers be like, oh, this person is too big. Look. You see it. I beat motherfuckers way bigger than me all the fucking time. Oh, I lose so baby, that shit be a war.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I go against people, I don't care how much you weigh. It's not your weight that would give me a hard time. It could be your genetic physical attributes that could give me a hard time. Like if you had like a super big hand, real long arm, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you real big, who cares? I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me, you being real big, because you look at my career, I beat several people that are at least 40 pounds bigger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm the same way, man. I walk around at 205 and I pull 220s
Right.
consistently, and I pull 242s and supers at times too. I mean, it's just a number, and the way I see it, man, you want to be the best. Let's face it, man. You got to beat the best. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I think of it.
The reason why I pull the bigger classes because it's like glory into it. Pulling, like, especially if you're the smallest guy and you being something the big guy or slowing down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like slowing down. But I'm starting getting to the point that I'm gonna start to pull my weight class like from the, like 220s or 205s on, you know what I'm saying, on down. Just to mix things up. Because like in the North, other than in the hook, I don't really get into all the rankings too much, for real. Because most people in the top 10 I already beat before in the past. But, you know what I'm saying? But I haven't pulled in a long time. Either I beat them, some of them, or someone had a war. Like when me and Brandon Session pulled, it was a war. When we pulled, like in 2019, it was a war. We both were sweating like crazy. Like
He's on fire right now.
Yeah. So it was a war when I did pull them. I pulled, like I said, I'm one of the pullers that I will pull. I tell you this, on the East Coast, I powered in and pull almost every arm wrestler you will know of that's popular. Damn near.
Yeah.
Damn near. Like, cause like, I'm in Virginia, so I'm in the like the Dixie line, like between the South and the North, right? So
You're in a good location, and you can you're at like a central, almost the center of the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes,
you can go up or down, and all kinds of sport. That's a great location to be.
Mm-hmm. So it's like most people in the Northeast, right? Most of them, they don't really go down south, and most people in the Southeast don't really go up north like that. Some do, some don't. Right? I'm like one of the few people that go either north or up north, other than New York. I haven't for arm wrestling. I haven't been in New York. I've been in New Jersey though for arm wrestling, but I've never been in New York.
You been to Jerry's?
Huh?
You been to Jerry's?
You
say Jerry's or Jersey?
Jersey, New Jersey.
I thought you said Jerry's like Jerry Caderet, but
no, I've never been. I've never been to Boston.
Yeah, I was up there last week, man. See my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
But it was just shitty timing, man. Like I came in late Saturday, was leaving early Wednesday. So like everybody's practices were like Wednesday evening. So I was already going to be back on the plane back to South Carolina. And but I reached out to everybody up there, man. RVJ, Jerry Caderet, Tim Bresnan, and who's the other? Bill Sinks.
Okay.
They were all pretty close, either Massachusetts or Vermont, but
Mhm.
everybody was super inviting, man. They're like, yeah, you know, you're more than welcome to come. We practiced at such time, which I thought was awesome, man. Like, if I would have had an extra day to spend, I would have, you know, I had my pick of the litter, man. You know, some of the best guys in the nation I could have went and pulled with, and yeah, I hope to get back up there and
That's
do it again.
sweet,
But
man.
that's where I'm from originally. So
Oh, really? No, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I
Um,
moved down here when I was like going into 7th grade. So I've been out here.
mm. See, I was like, you know, like people ask me like the 220, right? Like who's like the best 220, right? Like one of the best, right? I told if you talking about because like Brandon such a 220, but technically Brandon such really like 205 guy. Technically, he really a 205 guy. He got bigger doing the core team. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But he get bigger sometimes, but majority of the time he'll pull like 205, 198 class majority of the time. But the one name that I would say in the 220 class, he ain't 220. He might not be 220 now though, but he was 220 for a while. But what's dangerous when he was 220 was Jerome Loud.
Oh yeah.
Like I think like when he was in the 220s, cause the way Jerome pulled, that he got a huge hand too. Like you know in the Northeast, right? I always compare the both sides, Northeast and South, right? Like people say South known for hooking a lot, and
Yeah.
Northeast known for top roller. But it's some motherfuckers, same thing. It's some motherfuckers the Northeast got serious hook, like Joko Gochi, somebody like that, right?
Right.
But people that's not talk about. But then got some down south. He got some dangerous top rollers
I don't
like
want to
Jerome
interrupt you,
Loud.
man. I'm heading into the house because I can't hear much out here with this thunder. I don't even know if you can hear it.
Shoot, it started raining down here too.
Actually, I might sit right here outside.
Fucking storm.
But yeah, go ahead, man. My fault.
No, I was saying like when some people talk about the southeast, they were like, "Well, southeast known for hooking, right? Power, right? Then they're like, "Oh, the northeast is known for top roll, like post top roll, right?"
Yeah.
But you know me, by me going both sides, it's some people on both, like some people in the Northeast that got crazy hook power, right? But nobody knows them really, or other than Marcio. But Marcio will do what he want to do. Then you got some then down south, right? It's some people down south that got crazy hand, like Jerome Loud is one of them.
Dude,
Huh?
I pulled him at the round robin.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling really good that day. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have no aches and pains or nothing, so I had no no complaints or whatever. But man, I'll tell you what, I gripped out with him. I hit I hit sideways right into the hook, and that sucker just pulled me right over, boy. I was like, damn. I was like, hey man. I was like, did you feel that? And he was like, yeah, you're strong. I was like, man, don't lie.
No, well, I pulled him a couple times in my career, right? I always had trouble with his hand.
Yeah,
Everything else, which is annoying to me, kind of. Everything else I got me, but his hand always it's because like just like Shaw Lattimore, same way. My hand's real strong, but Jerome's hand is so thick and wide and long, like I can't really get the grip that I want to in his hand. If I can get the grip on you, it's gonna be hard to move my hand. But I can't really get the grip on him.
right.
So it's almost like my hand be like this, live down, not pulling. It'd be kind
Yeah,
of like that.
yeah,
so but lately I started to find a grip that I do against them guys like him and Shaw Lamore and guys like that. Them big
yeah,
huge hand guys. them real like because I think the mistake you made those type of guys, you try to grip around them, not knowing that you can't grip them for real,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I was gonna say the thickest hand I felt in a competition that I remember, and you could probably relate, and I'm sure you felt bigger hands, but the thickness of Carl Stanley's thumb pad, that was
Mm-hmm.
like, I have short fingers, you know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
that thick thumb pad, man, that's hard for me to, you know what I mean? Because I got to at least get some kind of finger wrap around, you know what I'm saying? At least.
When I pull Carl, that he's another guy that fooled me, like Brad Gundy did. When I pull Carl, I'll wait for him to hook me. You know what I'm saying? I said I'm gonna even hook him. It's like you know what I'm saying? You know how I do. But he didn't even with the hand department. I had a good grip on him. I didn't really have no problem gripping with him, but he didn't really try to go hand in hand. He just posted up on me. He just posted up real high on me. And Knuckles are high. He kind of protect his hand against mine when I pulled him. But I think the thickest hand that I grabbed, it most is Shaw Lamore's hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever grabbed him before, but I'll tell you this right now, it's weird. His hand is so wide. You cannot grip his hand real for real. It's hard. Like I seen Jerome pull him before. I seen Jerome got around him because Jerome got long fingers. But even he got long fingers, so he got around him because me and Sean was talking about that in Maryland. Sean was like, when he grabbed Jerome, he didn't know Jerome had he heard about Jerome had a big hand. Me like, okay, hey, your hand gonna be so big at the weight, you know what I'm saying, at a certain weight. So he first met Jerome was 220 at the time. So he was telling me how when they both gripped, how his whole hand wrapped around his hand. He was like, hold up, wait a minute. He said, he's like, a 220 guy hand wrapped around my hand?
Jerome is somebody I feel like don't get enough recognition, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he brought him up because he.
I always get him. Other than I get him high praise all the time. I always say I feel like he's like one of the hardest. You know, I grab a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
And I would say he's like outside of the superhumans, like the super elite guys. Outside of them, he's like one of the hardest person that I could say at the top rope. One of the hardest person to like one of them, like in this whole goddamn country. I mean, United States. To one of them that's hard to top roll. That dude is extremely hard to top roll. Like most of the time when you beat him, like the one time I beat Jerome, it was in a hook. And I did on accident.
Yeah.
But you not seeing too many people top roll him. Like I think the person I seen that top roll Jerome before was what's that guy from Mississippi, the big guy? Wayne Willis. Wayne did it. Yeah, that's another one. That's another guy right there. I feel like that he got one of the best top rolls in the country in the United States too.
I
Not
agree.
too many people top roll him either.
I agree. Yeah, I think if you try to go up top with him, man, not meaning you, but anybody tries to go up top with him, they're going to be in trouble. I mean,
like his hands, like I grabbed him before in North Carolina. I mean, not North Carolina, Alabama State, right? I heard Wayne, but I didn't really know Wayne.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't care what nobody say. That first time I put the first match, second match he killed me. I give him that. Second match he killed me. The first match, I think he kind of slept on me a little bit.
Right.
What I mean by slept on a little bit, like when we got in the setup, I almost had his hand. I almost had it. Then he told me right there, he like, yo, you for real. You know what I'm saying? His elbow came off the pad, and I thought the referee called, so I stopped, and he pinned me. and the rest said, "Oh, it was a win on Wayne." I was mad as shit, but I was mad at first that I had a chance to pull Paul Passmore. I was happy. I was like, okay, yeah, let me pull this motherfucker. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying? Let me pull this motherfucker. So Wayne, that's another guy like that list is even shorter of people that could top row him in
Yeah.
the United States. Like his
Well,
like
I mean, not even. Yeah, just look what happened with Matt Mass.
yes,
I mean, that's the
sir.
first time. I
Oh
mean,
my
that's the first
God,
time that
bro.
I was like, who is this guy?
Bro, look, I knew Wayne Ham was strong, right? I knew it. I know that, right? I didn't know it was that strong. Like, what I mean by that strong is, I'm like, dang, Matt, like, I like, dang, I put Wayne better than you did. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Wayne, I was like, yo, Wayne was taking, look, I heard Matt was like, yo, that motherfucker keep taking my hand. It was like, even Matt Maz was surprised himself. I don't think Matt Maz thought that Wayne Ham was like that.
Right.
I because when I saw Matt Mass came, he came with his family, was having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I already thought that I already in his mind, I know when somebody come focus or not. Like want me focus on my mentally. I already he probably when you on Matt Mass level, right? Not too many people gonna really mess with you. Like
Yeah.
he's like one of that 1%. So he probably look at it, well, Tom's an arm wrestler, but I'm probably still gonna beat him, right? So when Wayne took his hand, like his face was priceless. Like he was like, "Yo, this guy keep taking my hand." Like not what 6 times, not once or twice. He did it. Well, best out of 6, he did it, what 6 times
Yeah.
that he did it. I said, look, he gotta have one of. I to really be honest with you, like Wayne don't have a hook at all. Like it's so easy to get your biceps arm strong. If he don't have to have the strongest hook ever. If he make his hook respectable, everybody's in fucking trouble. He's already 6'6".
Yeah.
I don't think too many people, even overseas, that could top roll him really. I think his hand is that good. I think his hand is on that world level. His hand is
Right.
written. I think it's on a world level. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard from Wayne for a while. I don't know what happened because one time he was on fire. I haven't heard from him. You know, in social media since after he pulled Dave Chase. But Wayne, like, I really think he's on that, like, on that world level when it comes to hamstring.
Yeah.
Arm, no, but hamstring, hand wrist, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I
If he
think
would
he.
get, I
Mm-hmm.
think if he would, I think if he would for a year
Mm-hmm.
train his hook along with keep doing the top roll training, get that hook strength up, man. I think that would increase his arm strength quite a bit.
See, the guys in Mississippi told me that what happened was Wayne was like one of those guys that like how your training partner is, don't lift weights. You know what I'm saying? Don't do no lifting. So, but got a hand.
Yeah.
So Wayne, he said Wayne experiment a little bit in the weight room. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Experiment a little bit in the weight room, and you see you see how his level went. His level sparked up to a high level. I don't know what he's doing now. I haven't heard from him in a long ever since the Corona started. I haven't heard from him because he went to Pennsylvania, the Buffalo Wild Wings, and killed everybody. Like the way he took Shaw Lamar hand, like he, he like with no effort, with no effort. Like it was crazy. Like I like yo. Then after that, he did Matt Maz that way, and
Yeah.
like Michael Todd, trainer partner, what's his name? Uh,
Corey
uh,
West.
Corey West. Corey West could pull both hook and top roll. Both his top roll and hook is legit, right?
Hey, that dude,
Mm-hmm.
that is crazy. Like, I think he's, like all this Levon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Levon, he just beat Dave Chafee. Did you see that
Mm-hmm.
match?
Yeah, I
Um,
saw it. I saw that. That match went what I was afraid of. What I mean is, like, I was afraid that Dave Chafee was not able to get in the strap. I was afraid that Levon going to train. Like, I don't care what nobody say. When you go overseas, right? Like over here, let me tell you what guys do over here. Guys over here only train for scrap because of WL league, right? They train for scrap. They're not training. They don't really train their hand for real to be strong open-handed, right? When you go over there in rigid rules, you have to be strong open-handed, right? That Dave Chafee match shows right there against Levon that my perspective of that is right. Levon did not go in. Levon did not let him go in the scrap. He controlled his hand open-handed. Same thing what happened to Todd Hutchins when he pulled what's that guy for overseas? Zoa, right?
Yeah.
And people thought that Zoa gonna go on the hook with Todd Hutchins. I already knew that wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. Like,
Well,
I mean, he did.
Well, he did, but you seen what happened.
He got killed. So, but Zoa, him and Zoa faced each other before, right? He beat Zoa in the hook before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in the past, right? Zoa developed his top roll, right? And he was holding on to dear life, right?
Yeah.
To Todd, right? It seems like in the WL thing, since like our big time pullers over here do the WL thing, it's like they forgot how to really slip.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they forgot how to really slip. They showed it with Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee did not know how to slip at all. Like, I understand Levon's super strong, but I seen Levon pull guys nowhere strong as Dave, and they got in the scrap with Levon.
Yeah.
They slipped out his like that what's that Korean looking guy that the last time Levon pulled. I think it was a Korean guy, the smaller guy. He got in the scrap with him every time.
That's a bad dude too.
Right, but he's not as strong as Dave. But he
No.
got out. But no, I'm just saying he's a bad dude too, like you said. But
he was one of the smaller ones. Him and Babayev, I think, were the two smallest.
But he slipped out of Levon's hand every time, right? Yeah. Every single time he got out of Levon's hand, right? And so a lot of people, I look at the podcast, people say scrim. This is me. I've been here before. I got beat by people before that their hand wrist is so strong that I can't do anything, right? Doesn't mean they're stronger than you.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're stronger than you. It just, Levon is so strong as a human being, it's safe to say, oh man, he's strong today, right? Because Levon's already a super strong guy. But how I seen the match, we don't know how strong he really is. Because the way he pulled Dave was excellent technique. People talking about his scrum, fuck that. The technique that he did was perfect.
Yeah.
He didn't have to use his scrum. He didn't have to.
I would have liked to seen it going on a hook, man.
Me too.
I know that. I was just gonna say, I know that Levon most likely stronger, but still, I would have liked to see the outcome. I mean, Dave has that lane, that sideways lane.
I tell you this though, I still think Dave got more side pressure than him, but he neutralized it. It don't matter. So you gotta have the world best side pressure ever. If that guy can neutralize your side pressure, John Bazzi did it for decades. Neutralize people's side pressure. John Bazzi didn't really have no side pressure, really. He had the greatest side pressure ever. It was respectable. But he was killing people, right? He was killing people.
Oh, yeah, everybody.
He was not the strongest guy, always, right? But he would neutralize the strongest. That's what Levon did to me. For what I see, it was almost a technique 1-on-1, right? Old school, right? He neutralized Dave. They could not get to his strengths at all. Because people say, oh, he did what he wanted to do. Right? But what I seen was it was the same way 6 matches. You can't say he did what he wanted to do, because if you do what you want to do, you'll pull the strap, you'll pull this, you'll pull that angle, you do what you want. That will do what you want to do. But it shows that Levon Levon, like I talked to Dave. I told Dave, I said, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what nobody says. I don't think that gap between you and him is that big, for real. I think the
Right.
gap between you and Levon, technique wise, is big.
Yeah.
So when you guys, I think it's more the technique than strength. Like we know Dave is ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Dave is not as strong as he was. My opinion, I think the strongest Dave ever seen when he beat Trubin with ease. And during that time, Trubin was killing everybody. He beat
Yeah.
Michael Todd. He beat everybody. He was killing everybody at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
Truman was good there for a while.
right. And Dave had that neck injury. And okay, Dave's still strong. But before he had that neck injury, from like I say from 2013 to like 2000, I said 2017, he was strong as hell. Like I'm talking about like ridiculous. I think if you want to beat Levon is is technical. He used to be a small guy. Before he got on that scientific experiment stuff.
Yeah.
You saw the post about the steroids. See everybody arguing about the steroid thing. You see that today?
There should be no argument.
Look, but people look. Oh my God, you gotta look at it, man. It's so funny. Like a lot of people get mad. Like, some people got mad with Ron Bath said, right? And I agree with Ron.
What did Ron say?
Basically, Ron was saying was it's not worth getting all on that juice, all that stuff you take to risk your life to be a champion, right?
Yeah.
And you got some people was like, well, they're winners, right? So I'm thinking myself, well, are you winning? Like, if I had to, this is me, you know me, I'm a clean athlete. I'm talking about from a clean athlete perspective, right? I'm a clean athlete. I beat people that's on steroids before, or I gave a lot of people problems who was on roids, right? But I look at it like this: if I had to really change my whole body, like I'm a freaking scientific experiment, like I'm freaking Captain America. That's why I don't respect Captain America as a character. Cause he's a scientific experiment. He got a fucking machine, got that. He was not born with that, right? So I look at it like this: if I had to change my whole body just to be a no one arm wrestling, right? But I'm not a multi-millionaire. I'm not a billionaire. So when I get sick, I ain't gonna have who gonna pay all my bills. To me, it's stupid as fuck. That's just me. Like
Yeah,
to be a,
I agree.
to
I
me,
agree
that's
100%.
my opinion.
I agree
Because
100%. Man. I know some people that that are new to the sport and that came in, man, and like they try to tell me like, yeah, I just started taking SARMs or
mhm,
something like that, and
mhm,
I'm like Googling like, what the fuck is a SARM? You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
I've heard of like people say steroids, but I have no idea. And I'm just like none of the like all this stuff is all like it's research chemicals, man.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like what if this stuff is like makes tumors grow in your body or something? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I just
Look.
you know I drank some protein shakes throughout the day.
Mhm.
I take my multivitamins, the fish oil, stuff like that, man. But that's about as deep as I get.
Well, I tell people all the time. Like I tell the new arm wrestlers all the time. Right. I let it put myself on a pretty good level. Right. Some people might put me on the lower level. That's fine. Right. But it's fine. But judging of my the people who I beat in the things I did in my career, I put myself high up there. You know what I'm saying? Pretty
I
high.
agree.
Right.
I agree.
Me and RBJ had this conversation before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, me and him had this conversation before about natural and stuff like that, right? Out there, I always been natural in everything I do, right? Just to show example to people that you don't have to taste stuff to be good. Because if everybody like, I don't have no problem with nobody taking steroids. I have friends that take steroids, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, that's your decision because it's not my body,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I always tell people all the time, like I got into it with some people on arm wrestling all the time that I pulled before. Don't tell me that you so fucking strong, right? But you pretty much got help to be there.
Yeah.
Despite that, you still gotta work out. You still gotta work out, right? But at the same time, it's an advantage. You
Yeah.
cannot tell nobody cannot tell me it's not an advantage because if it wasn't an advantage, why you taking it?
Right.
Right? So we gotta be honest about it. Everything, right? I don't have no problem with anybody that takes stuff, right? That's fine. That's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
What I have a problem with is you got some of them that think they natural and they lie by and say they are natural and they not.
Yeah.
Then you got some, they be like, they'll make excuses. They'll be like, well, everybody on steroids. We know everybody's not on steroids. It's a high percentage though. It's a high percentage. That's true. It's a high percentage of people on arm wrestling on steroids. I went against a lot of people on steroids before, or they get juiced up to go get some. You know what I'm saying? Like I go look. If like I go get a person, they like when I go get some, and prior to when I saw them 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks later they're a different person.
Yeah.
Oh, so like, look, if you ever look at me, I pretty much been, I won't say the same, but pretty much is around the same weight all the time. Like my body does not change like those European guys though. In that case, it had been done it.
Right.
It doesn't change at all, right? So with Levon was already a talented dude before steroids. Of course, he was nowhere near the level he is now, but that's fact. But he was already a talented guy, right? But over there, they got stuff. They got stuff that millionaires got access to in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they got that real good stuff they got access to. Like, cause you see it all the time. These guys go from 180 pounds to like 300. They be like 180, 250, to 250 to 300. I'm like, good God.
And, you
I'm
get,
like,
and it's not like they gain any belly fat or nothing, man. It's
man,
like all muscle.
look,
It's
they
like,
be
holy
raw.
shit.
Like, don't get me wrong. People in the United States on steroids. A lot of people in the United States on steroids too. But it ain't the same as one overseas though. Cause trust me, if it was, they'd be taking it too. So
Yeah.
trust me. So you got some guys like on the post, they argue, and I could tell who's on steroids because
Right.
when somebody bring up the subject, be like, I don't agree with somebody on steroids, they didn't really talk about you. Here comes some people that be like, oh, as long as you don't abuse it or nothing. So that let me know right there, they on the juice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you on the juice too, right? And to me, the most discouraging thing ever is when you on the juice and you still lose.
Yeah.
At least
That's
with
it.
Levon could put so much mess in him. It's like it's almost like he's at that type of strength and his technique is already good. He has that type of power that I won't say he'll never lose, right? I always
Right.
feel like in arm wrestling, if you can run to a wrong person and put you in the wrong angle.
Yeah.
And
I think it's gonna take somebody more technical.
yes, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Than him. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe a 340-pound Devin Lair, you know what I'm saying, or somebody that's very technical.
Do you think we know Devin probably the most I put Devin like one of the most technical arm wrestlers of all time, one of them. So I think Devin is more technical than every super heavyweight overseas. That's not the problem though. Do you think Devin's strong enough to like in the middle of the table for LeVon? That's a question.
All I know is I saw Levon curling like single curling like 300 pounds or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bicep curl one arm like 300 pounds, but or 200 pounds, whatever. But it was some crazy number. Anybody that can lift that amount of weight, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
But the first thing is about LeVon do all these arm stuff, but he don't pull anybody in the hook. You know what's that, right? Like, I think those videos be like me hearing videos like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm strong though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm strong. Like he don't really. If you look at LeVon, he don't really show too much of his hand and wrist stuff. Not too much.
I want
When
to see
he's
him.
on his own,
I was hoping that went on with Dave, man. I'd like to see him wrist to wrist with somebody.
because his arm, like you said, don't waste that he doing is crazy, right? And but same. That's why me. That's why I real hard on guys like RVJ, right? 'Cause RVJ is natural and he's like a freak. Like, he really is. Like, I don't know if you saw the video he made recently on that weight he was curling.
Yeah.
That was good. I can't wait. You know, he got a match coming. I can't wait to see that match with him
Yeah.
and
What's his
what's
name?
that guy name? Well, you know, I don't be knowing them foreign guy names all. Oh man, I forgot his name. But
Sasha
Sasha.
Man. Yeah.
And of course, people say he gonna look because, but this is how I feel like on that match for real. The only weakness that RVJ has, right, is RVJ sometimes be lackadaisical, right, and he let people hit him, right. He
Yeah.
let you hit him, right, and he get take off center sometimes. But when he wakes up,
Different animal.
when he wakes up, and like you said, he's a whole different animal. I think like I told RVJ, you can't pull this guy like you did. What's that guy name? He pulled for Louisiana. Craig Touye. You
Yeah.
cannot pull like you did Craig Touye, right? You gotta pull. I told him the way you pulled Storm was perfect. When he pulled Storm, he did not wait for Storm.
Right.
Because if you get Storm advantage, you're not gonna win. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If Storm get advantage of you, you're gonna lose. So he was so intense with Storm. He did not let Storm he was so intense in the middle of the table with Storm, right? And I told him if you plus this is the best out of 6, I think. So I told him if you start intense for the beginning, because he already got a whole bunch of endurance. RJ got endurance like a motherfucker. So to be honest with you, people said that RVJ would lose, but to be honest, RVJ got a whole bunch of. To me, RVJ is more versatile. He got more tools.
Yeah. He can do it.
Taller. He's taller. Got longer arms. I'm talking about way taller. This guy. I mean, other Sasha's a monster though, huh?
Bigger hand.
Huge hand. He's another one with a huge hand, like Jerome's. But it's a small. This is a smaller weight class. But he's another one with he only difference with him and Jerome. Only difference is RVJ hands thicker. His hand. Yeah, man, that shit thick. His hand thick as hell. It shit crazy. So and RVJ's another guy. I don't care nobody says. RVJ's another guy is. I think he's one of the best top rollers. I'm talking about. I compare every weight class.
Right.
I think he's one of the best top roll overall in the United States too.
I agree.
And I say too, top rolls too, with his hand.
Yeah.
His hand is massive. So
everybody wants him to go inside with Sasha, and I say, why?
Why?
You know, if you get up, 4-0, yeah, throw in there. I mean,
if my hand is so strong, same thing with LeVon. LeVon fucking hand wrist was so strong. He's like, why nigga on the hook with Dave? Other we wanted to see it, but with RVJ hand so massive, right? Like why he have to? I mean, that'd be cool though, but he could pull there too. But why he have to go in the hook if his hand that strong?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's be real. Like people, like I would like now. Sasha got a real crazy super nation, right?
Right.
Real crazy super nation side pressure, right?
Yeah.
Of course, he kind of remind me of Todd Hutchins, kind of, because him and Todd Hutchins, Sasha put each other before anyway. Todd beat him, but
right, yeah.
I think with RVJ, right? I'm talking about on the level that RVJ on now, right? I think it'd be kind of hard to supinate side pressure him because RVJ got real good coverage strength.
Right.
Like he'll pull you underneath, like it's nothing. Underneath him like it's nothing. It's kind of hard to really supinate him. Really, you know what I'm saying? It goes sideways. It's real hard. So I think out of all Americans, like all Americans, like Dave and Todd, all of them, I think he's the most versatile. Like
Gotcha.
he's strong everywhere. So
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that match. I can't wait to see. I hope he win because like I told him, even if he don't win, if it's a war, already in my eyes, RVJ is legit in my eyes. Some people say that RVJ is not legit. In my eyes, he's legit.
Yeah,
I'm,
I've always
I'm,
thought he's been legit.
huh?
I always thought he's been legit.
Me too.
You know?
I look if you this I looked up his career.
Yeah.
Like his career, like if you look at his career from when he started to now, that dude's legit. Like he like when I saw the match when he was going toe with Marcio, I thought this dude crazy. You know how strong Marcio is. Like I don't care what version Marcio is.
Did you see that video on YouTube?
Mhm.
He was pulling Mike Aiello in a hook, and Mike couldn't move him off center.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
I was just sitting there, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, dude, this is like one of our best hookers. And Marcio's just sitting there, holding. I was like, Jesus Christ. But hey, man, we're real quick. We're probably like right at the hour and a half mark.
Okay.
But we could do a part 2. Sometime at the end of the week or next week or something if you want. But I wanted
What
to
you want
ask.
to talk about in part 2? What you want to talk about part 2?
I don't know.
We talk about anything. You know I don't care. I talk about anything.
Yeah, we could just get on here and bullshit around a little bit. But
Okay.
before we go, I want to ask you one question. I already know your answer. I think I know your answer. Paul Lynn or John Brezink? That's coming up too, right? This weekend, ain't it?
No, it's in October 23rd.
Oh, is it October? Okay.
Yeah, it's in Virginia. I'll be there too.
Or how about this?
Okay.
Why don't we lead into part when we start part 2? That's what we'll lead with.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah, I gotta think about it a little bit more. Thank you. Give me some time to think. I gotta break down. I gotta break it down.
Nah, man, I appreciate you coming on here tonight, man. And like I said, I'll shoot you a text or give you a call in the next couple of days. We'll set something up.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bro.
All right.